Hey YouTube, welcome to my garage on this cold winter's day here in the UK. I've had to get a bit wrapped up because it's freezing in here, and this time I'm going to be fitting a Roush Cold Air intake to my Mustang. Stay tuned. If you do like this type of information on cars, then please subscribe to my channel, and if you do like this particular video, please give me the thumbs up. It all helps with the YouTube statistics to make this a bigger and better channel so I can do bigger and better things for you guys. So as I said in the intro, what we're going to do is install this Roush Cold Air intake onto my 2021 Mustang GT. So I bought this second hand from a guy who shows me it was only on his car for 3 months. I know the guy from one of the Mustang Facebook groups, so therefore absolutely believe that's what he'd done, because he was selling loads of parts. I did buy quite a few things from this guy, and another big item bought from him was the lowering springs. So that's another video that's going to be coming later on. So now let's unbox this, unwrap it and see what he sent us. Okay, that's the unboxing done, so let me take you through the parts that he's actually sent me. So yeah, we've got actually the massive part, which is the main air intake, but this is a beautiful unit. It's quality moulded, you can really feel it, and I love that you can see the actual air filter through the piece of glass there. Lovely. So this is a template that's used to give you the cutout for the corner for the engine cover, but I'm going to show you, hopefully I've read about this method that you can install one of these without having to cut the engine cover. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do in this installation. There's the main pipe, air intake itself, and a couple of Roush stickers, and he's printed out the instructions, which it tells you on here they are available from their website. You can just go there and get these instructions. So what I'm going to do now is going to take 10 minutes. I'm going to have a read of the instructions and just make sure that I know what I'm doing, because I've never done this before and it is a new car, so I don't want to damage anything on there, and I do want to keep the old air intake just in case I ever come to sell this car in the future. Then I may sell this separately, because these I think are quite expensive. So let me have a read and I'll get back to you. Okay, instructions all read now, and first job is to remove this engine cover. So that means taking out these two plates here and releasing the bolts underneath, which are 10 mils. So as not to damage the plastic, I'm going to use plastic interior trim tool to actually get them off. And then the 10 mil just to remove the bolts. Now I've got one of these handy magnets so that you can just go down, and we should be able to lift these bolts out. There's one, and there's two. Now this should just lift off. Okay, it's a little bit tricky to get that off. Let me just show the fasteners. So the fasteners for this are these 4 studs here, which are going to go into 4 holes that are in the top of the engine there. But just persevere, don't go too mad, because it's quite flimsy, which you need to be pressing that bit in the middle to release them. Next we're going to release the MAF sensor. It's got a little red tab underneath which you need to pull outwards, and then that should just easily come off. So it's that little red tab you need to pull out to release it. Now we're going to take the airbox off. So undo the 2 clips here, and we need to loosen this screw here to allow the cover of the airbox to come off. So the airbox should now come off. Now just one word of warning there, the MAF sensor is actually held in to the airbox. I'm going to use this just to remove that connector from there. That's the MAF sensor free. There we go, a little bit. I think if you maybe push this concertina a bit back to release that in first, that would probably come out a little bit easier, but hey, she's off. So take that and the air filter out. So next we remove the airbox, and that's just held in by this one 10 mil bolt on the side there. that's that. So one thing is on this position here, the sound tube was actually mounted onto that position there as well, so you just need to lift that out first. So now we need to take this tube off and this tube off here. With this one, you need to put your finger right under it and you'll feel a little piece of plastic, lift it up, and then you should be able to slide that tube off. I'll show you what I mean. So this is a little bit of plastic you're trying to get to with your finger. So you're going to push that like that, which makes it wider and releases the clip. So that's that one. On this one here, this is just the standard sort of push in, so we just need to lift up that piece just with a tiny screwdriver or something. So this one was a pain, to be honest, but persevere, and what should happen is that this black bit should come out and then you should be able to release the pipe off the tube like so. So to release the sound tube, you're best off with a proper tool like this, which allows you to clamp over that and it locks it off, and then you should be able to release this tube once you've took the pressure off that. So the instructions tell you to remove this sound tube here right from the back there, where it goes into the firewall, which goes into the actual car to give you some intake sound into the car. That is almost impossible to get to that nut, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the sound tube at this point here, and I'll just take this piece away, and that should leave me plenty of space to get my cold air intake in. There we go. So that's the clip. If you just lift it up from those 3 little notches there, then it will lift up. You could possibly force that back in when needed, but we'll see if I ever put this back, whether I need that or not. I'm going to leave that with the sound tube for now. So back with the tray for the original cold air intake, what you do need to do is remove this rubber grommet here and this grommet here, because we're going to use these two on the new Roush. And also underneath you've got this area here, this grommet as well needs to be removed. So this one here is going to be easy by pushing the metal insert out first, and then obviously the rest is just rubber, and that should easily just push out. There we go. And that's for the bit that's sticking out underneath. Oh, there we go. So just bend it, push it, and just pops out. So now we install those grommets we just moved back into the Roush air intake. So this one, which is the metal one, is going to go as you load the air intake. There's a little leg there, it's going to go into that. So when you've got the rubber grommet in it, then don't forget to press the metal part back inside of it. And then this piece that you took off the original goes onto there, but on this one it looks like the seller has left that piece on for me, so that's good, so I can hold on to that. And then this really little piece that we got, this real tiny bit, that needs to go into that hole there, like so. So next we're looking at installing the airbox into the car. To do that, I just need to take this cover off. So while I've got this out, let me just show you something on here which I think is very restrictive for the air intake on this car. Take a look through the opening under here where the air actually comes in from the front, and have a look what you can see. It's a bit dark in here, but you should be able to see the few number of openings. I'm waving my hands in front of it there. So there's a couple of openings there, and there's a big blanking plate. So it's only open on the right hand edge, and it's sealed on the left hand edge from the front of the car. Let me show you the front of the car, you might get what I mean then. So if you look here, you probably can tell those holes are cut out on this side here, but on the left hand side they're not cut out at all. Yet the air intake scoop actually goes around those holes, but for some reason it doesn't allow air in. So I'm thinking if we remove all of this sealing in here, we should actually get better air intake. That's probably a job for later, so let's get back to the cold air install. So next we need to remove this air tube here, because we're going to replace this with the Roush one. Now let's install the Roush airbox into the area here where the original airbox came out of, securing it with a single bolt, exactly the same as the original one was secured. So a very slight change of plan there. This part here, which is going to go connect to the front of the car, and then the air intake will plug into it. I'm going to try and fit that bit first because it's a little bit hard getting it all in one go. Okay, that bit's in. Now let's see if we can get the airbox in. Whew! Not the easiest of fitments, but yeah, it does all clip in the end. Let's get it bolted up. If you bought a brand new one, then this bit probably wasn't fitted on yours and you'd have to fit this, but because mine was second hand, this bit was already installed. And now we'll reconnect the two tubes. Make sure you get a nice click. That one goes on there, and clip goes in the back. That's those. So the next part is to remove the MAF sensor out of the existing airbox. Now, I just realised what this part's for now. If you look on here, that MAF sensor sits in a tube that is just about 10mm. It's about 10mm, which when you look at this tube, this gives you an opening of about 10mm as well. If I put this MAF sensor into the new tube there, then I think it's going to throw the MAF sensor and it's going to make the engine run a bit rough, because I think with this Roush you can actually use it when you've had an engine tune to tell it to take up the extra air capacity. I haven't had an engine tune, so therefore I'm going to have to take that apart and put this piece in. It just slots in behind the air filter. Okay, so this air filter is such a tight fit that I think we'll have to undo these two bolts here just to push the thing back so I can get this out. There we go, perfect. So now this tube has got a slot in, so obviously that slot has got to go, there's a MAF sensor opening here, that slot has got to go where the MAF sensor opening is. So I'm going to push that in. I'm going to just have a look with a light and see if I can make sure I line that up. Okay, oh, it's going to have to push a long way in. There you go. Perfect. So now I can see the MAF sensor slot here, I can see right through, and it's open. So now we can replace the cone. So next we're going to remove the MAF sensor out of here, but I just want to make sure I get it right way up. It could probably only goes one way, but that's the way that went on the car, so the MAF sensor needs to go back in that direction, like that. So let's take this off. Just 2 torque screws holding this on. Okay, so let's get it orientated correctly on the car. So I'm going to take it out this way, which means I'm going to slide it in the same way in the newer. There you go. So here's another possible issue that's not mentioned. My MAF sensor wire actually connects there, and that's going to be basically inside the airbox when I put the lid on. So I'm going to have to get rid of this to run the wire just down this edge here. So again, using that same tool again, just pop out the connector like so, and then run that MAF sensor under there and plug it in. That's it. Next step, to reinstall the lid. So there we go, it's installed. I dropped that screw right down there, and it's gone right down into the tray underneath the bumper, and I can't get to it, but that's fine. I mean, that's not a problem. It's held well with these. What I may do is move that screw to there, just to sort of keep this edge down. There we go, I found a screw that'll do the job, so that holds it nice and securely. So the next part is fitting the engine cover here. Now, as I said before, what you need to do with this is you need to cut your engine cover to go around this bit here. Let me show you what I mean. So with the engine cover fitted back in place, this is the part they're asking you to cut out, really, around there. But I know this is covering that, but I think when you do cut that out, it's going to look a bit rubbish, to be honest. So what I'm going to do is, these mounting points here, so let me just take this off. So let me show you with the other camera. So it's this mounting stud here. Now all I'm looking at is if I put some washers underneath here, because it's quite long, so if I put some washers underneath here, that would lift the main cover up and then clear it from going here. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do. So I've got a tub full of washers, and basically just going to shove a couple on. I'll say put 3 on, like that. Let's see if that lifts it up out of the way. Now it's going to need more than that. 2 more on. One more actually. If I put 2 on, there won't be enough thread left. Yep, that is now sitting on the washers, and it's not touching this. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put a couple on this side, but I don't want to go above the oil filler, so I can only get a few washers on this side. Like that, I think would do it. So with this, so that sits down now, and we'll get those on. It's a pretty deep thread here, so I'm going to use a magnet to put that on the nut on the end of it, and then just get it started on the thread. Then you can just pull it off and it'll leave the nut in place. So that's that done, and it's above the actual air intake. And I've checked the bonnet does close without a problem, so it doesn't catch on the bonnet. If anything, it's only going to catch into some of this padding, which is just going to hold it in place, so it's not going to make any difference. The only thing I don't like is the word Roush that is underneath this. So what I might do is peel that off, and if you remember in the kit I got some more, so I may just move that and just put it down there. So that's it, the job is complete. So all that's left to do now is to fire it up and just see whether it makes any difference in sound. I'm not expecting it to, because this is an enclosed air intake, but let's have a listen. Yeah, probably not a great deal of change in sound, but it should give us a few extra bhp. So that's it, I hope you enjoyed that, and if you do like this type of video, then please subscribe to my channel, and if you did enjoy this video, then please give me that thumbs up, because it all goes to help on the YouTube statistics. I want to make this channel bigger and better for you guys, and that's going to be with the help of you guys by subscribing. So thanks again for watching, and until the next time, take care.